Hi guys, it's Coach Nathan again. Let's continue our lesson on profitable exchange. I really think this is an important lesson because I see a lot of people have confusion, and it is confusing. To count out an exchange. And remember, an exchange in chess is when you capture a piece that's protected. I see a lot of kids get really scared to take something. They say, that's protected. I can't capture. You know? They say, if you had white here, I see some kids, some students say, I don't want to capture this rook because it's protected. Now, in a sense, there's some validity to that because you'd rather capture, and I'll remove the rook on d8, you'd rather capture a piece that's not protected. Well, I don't blame you. That would be great, okay? But there's another way to win points in chess. It's called a profitable exchange. Here, in this position, the good move is to take the rook on d3, even though it's protected by the rook up here on d8. It's still a good move. Why? Because a knight is worth 3 points, a rook is worth 5. If you capture the rook and they capture back, you've won points. Often when I ask beginner kids, I say, how many points did you win here? They say 5, but that's not the truth. You win the difference. You're going to make a profit here, but it's the difference between the rook and the knight. Yes, you took their rook worth 5, which is a very good move, but black is going to capture the knight worth 3. So you took 5 points and you gave away 3. How do we find the difference? You subtract. What is 5 minus 3? If your answer was 2, you are correct. You won 2 points here because you used your knight worth 3 points to capture worth 5. They capture your knight worth 3, leaving you with 2. If you're in my class, I will often ask you to do the math, and I won't let you get by with just saying I won points. I say, how much? How many? Let's be specific. Let's be precise. Whenever a knight or a bishop captures a rook that's protected and wins this exchange, winning 2 points. Also, if you do it with a bishop, you capture a rook with a bishop, you also win 2 points because you're using a piece worth 3 points to capture a piece worth 5 points. They take your 3 points, but you're left with 2 extra points out of that exchange. Anytime a minor piece, a knight or a bishop is able to capture a rook and make the exchange, we call it making the exchange. It happens so often. Knights capturing rooks and bishop capturing rooks happens so often in chess. We call it the exchange, winning the exchange. That way, if I see here somebody has won the exchange, then I know they've won 2 points by capturing a rook worth more. So let's look like another complicated, another little slightly more complicated position. Remember, when you're doing exchanges, when you're capturing pieces that are protected, you have to do the math. You have to find the difference to see how many points you won. For instance, here, you're not, the white knight is attacking the queen. Now, some of you might think I don't want to take the queen because it's protected, but remember, a queen is worth a lot more points than a knight. So you would not you would not be scared to trade this knight for this queen. And after the exchanges, both these pieces would be off the board after the capture. If knight captures and then bishop captures, both the knight and the queen will be off the board, but you would have won points. Now, I'll let you think about this. I'm going to ask this. If knight takes queen, and the knight's worth 3, the queen's worth 9, and bishop takes knight. In your head, we're talking with a friend if you're watching this with a friend. How many points did white just win? And I'll go back, I'll show it to you again. If knight takes queen, and then they take your knight, how many points did you just win? If your answer was 6 points, you are correct. The reason it's 6, because a knight's worth 3, you're taking 9. Now white's up 9, but then you lost your 3 points. So 9 minus 3, you won a whopping 6 points, and that is more than winning. That should be much more enough, plenty enough to win the game. In fact, if you're 2 points up or more, you're usually winning the game. And in that case, after that exchange, you'd be up 6 points. Wow. Okay, let's look at this. Position. Oh, now we're going to be capturing with the pawn. We haven't done this yet. Okay, and if you remember, when you capture a piece that's protected, that's called an exchange. So let's let it be white to move here. The white pawn is on an attack. Does what it does best. And it attacks 2 things at once. The great thing about the pawn, how it attacks, it can attack 2. Oh my gosh, what am I doing? It can attack 2 pieces at once. Pawn here can attack the bishop and the rook. The question is, and both these pieces are being protected by the knight on f7. So, you know you want to capture, even though they're protected, because a pawn's worth 1 point, and both these are worth more. Rook's worth 5, bishop's worth 3. Which piece should you capture? Well, this one's not so hard to understand. You should take the rook, winning 2 full points. Okay? That's profitable exchange. Try in your games to count. If you capture, how many pieces you're going to win. Also, beware of stuff like this where this is a non-profitable exchange. This is a bad exchange. Rook should not take bishop. It's protected. And you lost 2 points. You didn't win 2 points. You lost 2 points. So be careful. Count. Look at the piece you're about to capture. How many points is it worth? How many points is the piece you're capturing with? And what does the defender have to do about it? Okay, how many points are you going to come up out of it? Okay, let's change gears here a little bit. I will set up a position. Let's see here. Okay, we have a pawn attacking a rook. The rook is protected, but we're not worried about it being protected. I think we want to take that rook anyway. In fact, anytime you have a piece of lesser value attacking a piece of greater value, it's usually a good idea to capture. But as your chess coach, that's not enough. I want to know how many points you just captured, and I want you to know that. If you capture the rook and pawn captures pawn, how many points did you just profit from that exchange? I'll give you a few seconds to think about it. If your answer is 4, you are correct. If your answer was 5, you were thinking of just capturing a free rook, but the rook's protected. In this capture, in this profitable exchange, you do have to give away a pawn. But you're not worried about that. You're not worried about that at all. Because you are winning 4 points. You take a piece worth 5. They take your pawn worth 1. And you are left with 4 points. And to mini chess players, that is more than enough to win the game. In fact, again, 2 points are up. Two points or more, and they say you are. That's enough to say that you are for sure winning. Okay, let's do some random ones. What's going on here? What's happening? Pretend here you're playing black. In fact, boom, you're playing black. Black starts on 8 and 7, goes towards 1 and 2, and white is going towards us. Now we have the black side. I think you see the capture here, for sure. But the question is, how many points do you win? Now you know the knight's protected. So you still want to capture it though, because you're using a piece of lesser value to capture up. How many points do you win if pawn takes knight, queen takes pawn? How many points? So take the piece you captured minus the piece that you got, that they captured from you, and how many points are you left with after this exchange? If your answer was 2, you're getting really good at chess, and also you're very good at math, because you're taking a piece worth 3, they're taking up your pawn worth 1, so you won 2 points. Very good. Most common way that you're going to win points, honestly, I'm going to flip the board again so we're white. The most common way you're going to win points is from capturing a rook. Capturing a rook with a knight or a bishop. You have a knight worth 3, the rook's worth 5. It is protected. You're not worried about that because, again, you win the exchange. So, and these positions are going to get complicated. And now, one way you can win the exchange a lot is through what we call with the knight. The knight is such a wily piece. It can get in there and it can win exchanges. For instance, and do you see a move where you can attack, you can move your knight to attack both rooks at the same time? Now they're unprotected, so one of them's going to move to protect the other, and then we'll win the exchange. You'll see a move like this. Knight to c5. This is a strong move. The knight is attacking the rook on d7. The knight is attacking the rook on e6. Now the game's not over, because one of the pieces can move out of the way of the knight, yet the other rook is still attacked. Well, if you've been paying attention during the lesson, you know that you can capture this piece that's being protected. You're not worried about them capturing back because you used a knight worth 3 points to attack a rook worth 5 points. How many points did you win? I'll give you a second to think about it. I'll set it up again. How many points does white win here after capturing? If your answer was 2, you are correct. 5 minus 3 is 2. I'll see you for the next lesson, guys.